Toronto. Barry Sherman, a Canadian billionaire, generic drug mogul, and philanthropist, once promised that the autobiography he was writing would be a page-turner, packed with stories of intrigue, duplicity, and outright corruption by his competition. The last chapter was without doubt the most sensational, and he did not get to write it. It occurred last Friday, when his body was rolled out of his Toronto mansion by the police, together with that of his wife, Honey. On Sunday night, Toronto police announced that its homicide team was leading the investigation, and that the cause of death for both deceased was ligature neck compression. The couple's real estate agent found their bodies hanging by their indoor pool, according to a person close to the family and local news reports. The police said there were no signs of forced entry and no suspects at large the public should be concerned about. Although the Toronto area is home to 6.2 million people, it can often feel like a small town where everyone knows one another, particularly among the small-moneyed elite. And so Hanukkah and Christmas parties across the snow-swept city over the weekend were a buzzing hive of disbelief, shock, and finger-pointing about the couple's death. The couple was known for two contradictory things: making a fortune in the tough, litigious business of generic drugs, and giving a lot of it away to charity. Early local news reports said the police were considering the deaths a murder-suicide, which friends said amounted to character assassination. "There is absolutely zero debate in my mind, this was a double homicide," said Linda Frum, a senator in the Canadian Parliament and a close, longtime friend of the couple. She added, "This idea that Barry would ever harm Honey, he adored her. That's impossible, he was a gentle, good man." The couple's 4 children issued a statement slamming the police for leaking the murder-suicide theory and urging them to conduct a thorough, intensive criminal investigation. Fred Wax, a real estate developer and close friend of the Shermans, said, "Barry was involved in big pharmacy on a worldwide basis. His lawsuits pertained to billions of dollars, back and forth. When you are dealing with the size of that industry and the amounts we are talking about, you make enemies." He added, "And you make enemies on a global basis." Last month, Canadian Business Magazine listed Mr. Sherman, whose name was Bernard but who was known as Barry, as the country's 15th richest person, with a personal net worth of 4.77 billion Canadian dollars. He had a reputation as a shrewd, combative businessman, a brilliant scientist and a consummate workaholic who, at 75, still logged long hours in the office most days. He appeared to have no intention of ever stepping down as chairman of Apotex, the company he co-founded in 1974 and built up from just 2 employees to more than 6,000 in Canada alone. The biggest Canadian-owned pharmaceutical company in the country, Apotex now makes more than 2 billion Canadian dollars in annual sales, according to the company's website. Mr.